Let's start with a nice, fun, happy topic and talk about touchline bans. We talked a little bit about it sort of after the game, and you said, I've just got to wait and see what the punishment is. What's your verdict on it? How difficult is it to not be able to be down there in the dugout?
Yeah, it's difficult. Obviously disappointed, but I think I said it last time, really down at the time, I did wrong. I approached the referee at the end of the game. My understanding was I didn't realise you can't go and approach a referee, and obviously I did that. So, like I said before, reiterating, I never was once abusive or aggressive. I was just asking a question, but understand fully probably, mate, that obviously it was the wrong image, and certainly my actions were wrong by approaching a referee. So the consequences are the consequences, and I'm faced with that now. So disappointed, obviously, that I can't be on the sideline, but we're fine. We've got a brilliant group of staff as well, so we'll put things in play like we did last time when I was banned, and we'll crack on.
I was going to ask, does it make it easier that it isn't the first time, or is it more frustrating that it's not the first time?
You're right never to be in that situation, but the job we do and how we do it, sometimes emotions do run a bit high, and obviously I think it makes it easier because obviously we've been here before, so in terms of setup, in terms of an understanding of how we're going to communicate, we've had a prep run before, so hopefully it runs smoothly.
We do see managers talking to referees on the pitch after games and stuff, and if that's classified as approaching them, do you think we might see a change in that if it's being clamped down on? Certainly you've been clamped down on for doing it. Yeah,
maybe. Look, the ref give me a warning on the time to go away, and obviously I reapproach, so maybe it's not as I'm sure there'll be a bit of discretion used at certain times if it's just you're approaching a referee having a conversation with. Of course, if at any point it's aggressive or abusive, then I totally understand that that's the way it is. But look, mate, I was wrong. Obviously, I approached the ref on the second time, and hence why I'm missing the game.
Just more generally, you talk about your staff and the guys that are down there in the technical area with you. How much do they bring their own strengths to the party? We get so much focus on the manager or the head coach because you're the poor guy who has to sit here with the cameras in front of you. But how much has it changed since your early playing career, perhaps, that you've got specialists down there who all have their sort of delegated roles and responsibilities?
Massively, and it's a great question, to be honest with you, because you're right. Obviously, I'm the one what often fronts a lot of things up, because hence that's the job I'm in. But the group of staff I have are incredible, really, and they're a large part of what we do, take extra load off of me in certain times, and I have an unbelievable group here, a group of men that are supporting, got massive quality as well. So yeah, everyone brings their own little bits, and everyone has different jobs and roles in that, and the way we've set things up. So it's changed massively, Dan, must admit, from probably when I was playing to where it is now, and the group of coaches I have and the staff around it are facilitating and obviously bringing their qualities in certain moments and their opinions, which obviously I'm always open to as well.
How satisfying is it then as a coach? We talk a lot about developing players, and it must be great to see them get better. When you delegate some of that responsibility, when you ask one of your staff to do something, and we see it a bit these days, maybe with set pieces, and a player scores and they go and celebrate with the person who put the session on. Yeah. That must be really good. It must really feel like a team effort, like it's sort of the sum of its parts.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Because, like I said, the professional sport, and certainly football now, and certainly us and what we've been in now for the last 8 months is an absolute team effort. And sometimes then people don't get the light shone on them, but be under absolute no illusions that the staff and the group what are supporting the team and supporting me are fundamental for us to be successful. And I include everyone here at the training ground. Every role is obviously trying to get the optimum and the best out of a group of players what are here constantly daily, and obviously workload for me and their qualities. So they deserve that moment, really.
Speaking of team efforts, is the international break always a slightly nervy process as they come back in dribs and drabs and ones and twos, checking that everyone's all right?
Yeah, it is. Definitely. Look, I think the international break come at a good time for us. We came out of a real big chunk of block of fixtures, and there's an element to say, did you want the international break because we were where we are? I think initially, as someone in my position, firstly, excited and proud of the boys what go and represent their country, but at the same time, you sit there with probably your hands over your eyes or your fingers crossed that they come back fit and well, and that's been the case, so I'm pleased with that. Some boys what have been here, obviously some time off just to reboot and refresh a little bit. We'll get them back up to speed, mate. We're running now, however many games, 8 games or whatever it is. Big one coming up at the weekend, so we'll get right back on the pedal, mate, and we'll kick on.
Has it allowed some of those not super long terms but slightly longer term absentees to get a bit closer having this fortnight?
Yeah, it has. I think anytime you get a little bit of a gap, them boys what are obviously in treatment rooms and there's not games and slowly ticking off, it gives them a little bit more of time. I don't really see anyone at the present moment in time. Aaron Ramsey's pushing on really, really well. Hopefully he can get some game time over the next week or so. So that's really, really pleasing, and he's really doing well and progressing well, really. So yeah. Just
as far as the running is concerned, you mentioned it there. This is like you've had the last international break. This is sort of the final push, isn't it? I read some quotes from Liam Manning about chasing freshness. You've done a lot of your work, and now it's about having players in the best condition you can have them for the games because the workload has been so high. Is that something that chimes with you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're at the back end of it now. There's been in this position many a time, and you're at the back end of the run in the final straight. The baton's been moved around. If you want to reference it metaphorically in a running track or a relay race, that baton's now got around to the last leg, really. And at this present moment in time, the work and the bulk of work has been done. What's important now is, of course, a freshness, a mindset, a mentality, a motivation about us to obviously get to the end of this with an objective of trying to be successful this year, really. So I think that's definitely right, yeah.
To extend that analogy, where you are and the points that you've got to sort of the bottom of the playoffs, it doesn't look like you're going to drop the baton. Is it now about trying to get that sprint finish and get over the line and get automatic?
Well, that's the aim. The aim is for us to try and be successful this year, and I don't need to spell out what success looks for us because we all know exactly how that looks. I stick with it, and the one thing that we've done remarkably well this year in terms of is a real focus on each game, and I think I've been very clear in how I've always addressed yourselves in terms of not really worrying about points or what other teams are doing. Our full focus has always been as a group and as a club, and everyone here has been the next game. I know too well that you go and win enough games between now and then, it is what it is, and it's said and done. So there'll be maybe a few more ups and turns along the way here. This is the way this league is, and that's the way the season is at the back end. But we're fully focused on each game and us keeping the momentum and certainly the energy of what we've got.
This game this weekend then, it's not the last game that you'll have against teams who are in contention for those playoff places. Bristol City kind of just on the fringes of that top 6. How well have they done to be where they are and doing what they're doing? They're not quite on an unbeaten run like you are, but they're on an unbeaten run of their own.
No, yeah, they're a very good side, and they've picked up, certainly, I say picked up, they've been very good all year, but they've definitely picked up of late a tough team. Everything we're looking at, and certainly what I've looked at over the course of the last 10 days, is a real good side, what have gone to places and give teams a really, really good game. So they're fighting for something similar to us. So I suspect this will be a tough game for us, a competitive game, one which both teams have something on. So we need to bring our best part of us at the weekend to be firstly competitive and try and execute how we see best to break this team down and get 3 points. So that's the aim.
The Turf Moor factor, it feels like a repetitive line of questioning to talk to you about, how good you are at home and how little you lose at home. And I feel like I was clean shaven the last time Burnley lost at home in the Championship. Does that have a factor when you have conversations with managers after the game and stuff? Do you get, this is a really difficult place to come, we knew what to expect when we came here?
Yeah, I think there's a common theme that when you speak to managers, I think the common theme is in general is your home stadium is always one which can be the difference maker. I think I've always said that. A home base, a home fan, cliche as it sounds, is always your extra man really. And when the place gets going and the support is there, it's the extra lift that sometimes players need. I often reference that I've been in the arena many a time and I have an understanding of that, and the power of them moments when you just, that extra cheer can just get that extra yard. Our stadium's going to be crucial, and it has been crucial, and they're a large part of why them numbers or that feeling you have regarding us being at home has been the case really. So I expect on Saturday again our fans to come in, support this team like they've always done through good, through bad moments, get right behind this team and drive us on as much as they can really, because I know for a fact that the boys need that and they feel that.
Proper questions to come from Matt, thank you.
Cheers.
Hi Scott. You said before the bet you'd hope to get a game for Aaron Ramsey. Is that to happen, or is it still?
That's planned, yeah. It's planned this week. So we're hoping that he'll be involved in a game the back end of this week, and then there's another game the following week. So we're hoping that is the case. He's been brilliant. He's progressed really, really well. So hopefully we can get him some minutes, mate.
Is it still going to be difficult for him to get up to match speed in for a championship level, given how long he's been out for, only 8 games left?
I'm not sure really. I think like anything, when someone's been out for such a long period of time, you probably take him week by week, training week by week, and you know, while I'm excited and enthusiastic about Aaron in terms of how he's progressing, I'm always conscious of someone who's been out so long. There's different hurdles you need to jump, and the next hurdle for him is a live game, a proper game with the 21s or the reserves, and hopefully see him come out of that, and let's see where it gets to before the end of the season really.
Can I ask you about one player in particular, Lucas Perez? It was a big blow, wasn't it, when Bashir picked up that injury? But Lucas has really come in and you know, he's done a really good job, hasn't he?
He's done really well, yeah. Look, we've been hugely impressed with Lucas since he's come in, and he's adapted really, really well. I think first and foremost, Brazilian player coming in from abroad, different culture, different way of playing. English game's probably a lot different to what he's used to, and I think it's fair to say he's adapted really, really well. When Bash was obviously fit, it was, you know, that position that was getting fought for really. And Lucas had to step up over the last few weeks since Bash's injury, and I've been hugely impressed with him really. Brings huge quality, I think we can all see that. So, yeah, really pleased for Lucas.
You referenced quite a lot of times this season about the average of 2 points per game that would normally get you across that line. Is it possible this season that might not be enough, given that 3 teams all going for the top 2 spots? It could, 92, 93 might not be enough this season.
Maybe, yeah, definitely that could be the case. And while that's a reference, and the marker last year was very different as well, so it went above that. So yeah, while it's a reference, it's not something that is a concrete in securing what we would like to secure this year. So each game, like I said, mate, let's keep ticking them off, and no amount of wins or whatever it is irrelevant. It's just get to Bristol, let's try and get some 3 points there and move on quickly and refocus and get the job done in the next game as well, hopefully.
Yeah, and finally, over the international break, we saw the club at the footage of the Traitors game. Obviously, we saw how strong your dressing room is. How difficult is it to get that strong dressing room, especially with what happened back in August?
Yeah, look, it's been, I say it's been difficult. It hasn't been difficult because of the human beings and the players and what they are and their values and how they've come together. There's difficult challenges in that because you need to try and set an environment and a culture that gives people that feeling, and I think we've done that really, really well. I think, look, someone asked me about that the other day in an interview, and I think the only thing I can describe it as, I'm extremely proud of that. I'm proud of the team in terms of how we performed this year. I'm even more prouder of I've been in it. I've lived this for 8 months. We've lived it, and the highs, the lows, the bumps, the adversity. Certainly early on, there were some huge challenges for us, and there were some huge challenges for the players as well. They've come together. I think I was quoted in saying that arguably this is the most together squad I've been around. and I've been around a few. You know, this is a bunch of men. There's a brotherhood here. There's everyone in line, and they're sticking together, and that's vitally important for good teams and great teams. Is fundamental to have, really.